It's the party in the sign of Aquarius. I'm calling it the Pluto party, and it's happening between the 16th and the 19th of February, leading us into a very intense window of time in which everything is weighted. Indeed, there are many planets in Aquarius, most importantly, of course, Pluto, giving that part of our sky a huge amount of collective and individual action. Now, this is called a stellium, 3 or 4 more planets in one sign, and we do have stelliums in Aquarius on the regular every late January into February throughout history. Although for this kind of weight with Pluto, it's very special. We haven't seen this since 250 plus years ago. And when I look back at all the other Aquarian stelliums that have happened over time, this definitely weights as one of the most powerful. I'll be talking about other times when we've seen a lot of weight in January, February in Aquarius. Some of you may have been born with that intensity. Let's get talking about this, though, individually and for your sign. To listen for your own sign, listen for your sun as career and father figure and purpose. Your moon sign can be delineated as your body, your home life, and your safety and emotional needs. And then finally, the rising sign is going to be the most accurate delineation because it's really everything about you as you navigate life from the steering wheel of the first house. And also, we'll look at this from world events, but this is a short video. This is like a mini quickie I'm recording on February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day, for my Patreon community. And then I'm probably popping this out on Friday the 16th, just so you guys have some lead time on this energy. So one of the things I want to note is I was born in 1962, and we had a big stellium in the sign of Aquarius at the time. For example, it was huge. It was a record setter. And the stellium that we have right now, meaning more planets than one in one whole sign house, we're having Venus, Pluto, Mars, Mercury, and the sun. So that is 5 planets weighting the Aquarian sky from the 16th to the 20th, but then 16th to the 19th, but then the sun will slide out, and then we only have the 4 planets, right, on the 19th, and it's not so strong, but those 3 days are pretty intense. And back in 1962, in February, between February 2nd and 14th, for any of you people born in that window listening, we had an extraordinary weight in Aquarius. We had Jupiter, we had Saturn, we had the South Node, we had the Sun, we had Mercury, and we had Mars. And Mars is here again. Indeed, in all of the years I've done research, the only time Mars was involved in the Aquarius stelliums, every February of all these years behind us, was in 2008. When he was bundled, 1962 and then 2008, where he bundled himself into the stellium with Neptune, the north node of fate, the sun, Mercury, and Chiron. So without Chiron, it's even less planets, but we had 6 bodies there in February of 2008, and you might want to go back and compare maybe 1962 February-ish to 2008 February, if you're born with that, or things that may have been happening in your life or the world at large. And then in 2011, Mars was back. He was joining the Sun, Mercury, Neptune, and Chiron, the wounded healer in Aquarius. And here we have now, yet again, that energy. One of the most weighted thing, stelliums have weight. It's like the sky is lopsided. A lot of energy goes there. All things Aquarian ruled by Saturn come into play. The last time we had a superpowered stellium here that rivaled 1962 in its magnitude was 2021 February, when we had Saturn here, Jupiter here, the sun, Venus, Mercury, and Athena, the asteroid for knowledge, wisdom, and strategy. But without Athena, we still had Mercury, Venus, Sun, Jupiter, and Saturn. Of course, Mercury and Venus are always tracking close to the sun. So that's nothing unusual. What gives these stelliums the happenings are outer planet bodies that become gravitationally longer term connected to Aquarius. For example, before I go into your sign, and I will get there, in 1998, 2000, 2002, these stelliums continually embodied a Neptune-Uranus co-presence in there. So Neptune was moving through this part of the sky, and then Uranus. And so 98, 2000, 2002, those two are anchoring, outer planets are anchoring this Aquarius part of the sky. And then you have variations of Sun, Mercury, South Node Sun, Venus, adding to the mix. So I'm going to call this stellium powerful and important for the simple reason, I'm going to show you the sky of Pluto. You know, we haven't lived through a stellium in Aquarius and Pluto, and we're going to see this returning on the regular until, 2044, when Pluto finally makes his last exit out of the sign of Aquarius. A lot of people say 23, but he exits in 23 and then comes back again. It's not until I think this January, February of 24, he's finally out of Aquarius. So it's a big deal, right? It's something new. We haven't really gotten the grasp on it yet. So here we have it, right? There's the powerful stellium sitting there. And by the way, if you are new to my channel, I forgot to introduce myself properly. I am Lori Lothian. I'm using the Western Tropical Zodiac whole sign houses. If you like what I'm up to, check my description box below. I'm going to be teaching my Sky Reader class, probably starting in April. There's a wait list to get in, 6 weeks to time your best life and be your own astrologer. It's introductory astrology, but with a bent towards timing tools and techniques for prediction. And also my Patreon community, of course, who gets everything early access ad-free. Sign up now, try me out for $5. And I have a little bit of a special with 2 free courses that you get to access to by giving me a try. You get to keep the content of those free courses. These are replays. Just for trying me out. That's Chiron, the Key to Purpose, and a Synastry class for relationship analysis. All right, so back into the story of what I'm showing you in the sky here. What I want to note is this starts out around February 16th as Venus ingresses, or in other words, moves in to the sign of Aquarius, and the sun will leave in a couple of days. Watch the sun get the hell out of there, right? And here we have February 19th at 3 p.m. in the afternoon in Vancouver, Canada. Goodbye, sun. But you can basically kind of go Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Wow, what a heavyweight tribute to your Aquarian whole sign house. Use whole sign houses, not Placidus. I don't want to explain why. Check out my tutorial below that teaches you how to use whole sign houses, how to cast your chart in whole sign houses, and why you should do it. And that is a free offer from me. It's under my description box. Go download it and see your whole sign house system sky. It's the ancient tradition. It works better. Now, this part of your sky, this weight of planets up here, will indicate a weekend in which there's like a throbbing, heavy, unbalanced part of your sky where things are going to be very intense. With Pluto and Mars and Venus, it's like everything you don't want to perhaps participate in. Toxic love, fatal attraction, the power of love, higher love, ghastly news stories about war and love because Mercury's there, atrocities, Pluto and Mars are explosive bombs and shooters. Now, you might have listened to my old video that just recently put out about this stuff. That would be my Mars in Aquarius video, perhaps, as well as my Pluto-Mars conjunction video. And they're just out in my playlist on my channel. Go find them. But the point is I did talk about shooting events, and there was a shooting at the Super Bowl, and there was this thing with another shooter thing, and also things to do with war and weapons. And now the United States is whispering out a story about Russia's super nukes or something for space nukes. They call them space nukes. Yeah, that's just Mercury dispensing some information about Pluto Mars, which is weapons and weapons developments in Aquarius, such as gunpowder and the machine gun when Mars Pluto have been here before. And now we have supposedly space nukes. Okay, that just came out in the news today when I'm recording on Thursday, Thursday, the 15th. But it ain't over yet, because what we see here is, this Venus entry could look like an attempt for peace, like ceasefires, hostage exchanges, and wars in the world, things that could really try to bring us towards some kind of resolution about what Mars and Pluto have been up to. Now, I did say that there's going to be something pretty atrocious hitting the news cycle, something shocking that makes everybody gasp around war events. And when I did say that, it was really coming up for that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday kind of Pluto-Mars conjunction. But it was in orb on Sunday, and the news stories, Mercury breaking on Monday, were all about what some people are calling the Super Bowl massacre. Some people are online, but what it was in terms of the world event was it was a raid. No, it was a hostage rescue operation. That's so Mars Pluto in Aquarius. But what happened was a lot of civilians were killed in that action because bombs were dropped as a decoy for the rescue mission. And that was basically one of those things that made people quite upset. What was trending that was shocking, and I won't say much more, on Twitter or X, was a a torso of a girl with her mother's arm holding on and the legs shut off and the head blown off that was dangling from a wall after the bombing on that Sunday rescue mission. I sometimes wonder, how would that 70-year-old and 60-year-old two people who were rescued feel about the cost of the lives, the hundreds of maimed and killed people from the rescue mission? Like, I'd be like, oh my God, my life is here. And because, of me, those people are dead. Now, I want to say one thing. I'm not excusing what happened on October 7th. Please don't mistake me for doing that. I'm talking about the human condition and man's inhumanity to man, and how I wouldn't want to be the person rescued myself at the expense of what else happened as collateral damage for my rescue. So that's just my temperament. I have an Aquarius. I'm oriented towards humanitarianism. Noble sacrifice could be one of my archetypes. And so with a Mars trine Neptune, that too, noble sacrifice, spiritual warrior, whatever in my chart. So please do you. Don't troll me. Just you do you. I'll do me. You're here for astrology. This is about the world events as it's reflected in the sky, and also your personal narrative. I give you both here. If you like that stuff, stick around. Alrighty, what I like about this Pluto powered up, the Pluto party I'm calling this, is I really do like something in particular. I like that there is a collaboration with the moon moving through those 3 days, the sign of Gemini, where the Vestal flame of sacred devotion sits. That's the asteroid Capito tracking with Mercury and the sun. What are you passionate about? Where are you turned on? What is lighting up your life force energy, flowing to a flame of devotion that you're willing to devote yourself to something greater? And when Venus gets in there, she talks to good old strategic Athena, the goddess of knowledge and wisdom and strategy and victory in war for the world. This can be some war story coming to some temporary reconciliation. I would only hope. Athena in the first house of Joe Biden, Netanyahu, and the United States of America, all Sag risings. This looks like some kind of attempt for negotiation. Asteroid America is now traveling through Capricorn. That isn't so great. Looking like March the 22nd in particular. I think that was the date I found. No, maybe it's sooner. Asteroid America, let's put her in there. I want to show it to you so you know what I'm talking about. It usually just means things that go on with America. That's like so simple, right? America, United States of America, whereas America is the asteroids traveling through homeland, property, and real estate that belongs to the nation of Israel. And therefore, that's where the United States is focused. In a sense, this asteroid tells us a tale. But eventually that asteroid will square this south node, which is tracking on the ascendant of Israel, which corresponded to the eclipse in October that was related to the whole beginning of this particular military offensive. And if I was to move this asteroid forward, because I never remember what day things happen, it is when asteroid America squares the south node on the state of Israel's ascendant, which is around 21 degrees, that this is likely to look like March the 8th, starting around there, some kind of United States contrabanding, imperative disengagement, or what do you call it, like tough love talk to maybe the nation of Israel regarding what is ongoing in this particular atrocious situation in Gaza. Now, back to the Pluto party. I went way too far back. So here we have a place I'm going to talk about in your sky where the moon with the Vestal flame, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, is going to say, what are you willing to devote yourself to as a sacred call or sacred duty that's worth tending your time and energy and perseverance, that you feel emotionally satisfied or connected to as it connects to your Aquarius part of your chart. And I would remind you, because this is a Pluto narrative, it is particularly unique because this is the first time Pluto has been in this kind of a stellium in any of our lives. And it may be like a keynote or a pitch pipe or the energy that suggests to you how you may be operating with this repeating stellium on the yearly over the next 20 years. It will never always be this beautiful. Like there's so much going on there. You won't always get perfect alignments of Sun and Venus and Mercury together here. And you certainly won't always get Mars there. That's what makes it unique. Mars is your individual will. Pluto is your divine will. Mars is your decisions and action taking energies and your directionality. Pluto is power. Venus is what do you love. So this is really setting a tone for all of us that kind of may reverb out for the next 20 years. So this is why I'm doing this video. Pluto party in Aquarius. We're going to start with Aries and move through each sign. This is not a long video. It's a quickie. All right, Aries, sun, moon, and rising. There's a Pluto party in your 11th house of friendships, great gains from your career, your long-range hopes and dreams and wishes for your life, flowing to a moon and a Vestal flame in the 3rd house. What is the flame you wish to tend when it comes to your neighbors, your neighborhood, your siblings, younger and older, your situations to do with writing and creative projects? I, as a writer, can speak to that. Aries, sun, and moon. Can't wait to start carving out writing space, communications. But this is social media. The moon is what makes you comfortable, satisfied emotionally, and how you communicate, relate, in social media land, blogs, websites, and writing projects. So a lot of you Aries are really tending to that flame right now. You've been flaming the sacred duties of that part of your sky, but with the moon baking in a little bit of a connection to the 11th house, it really takes you up a notch. Like, what are those long-range dreams and goals for your life? And how can your 3rd house generate emotionally satisfying greater gains in your career, whether it's reputation, fame, or earnings? This is a house that supplies the goodies from your natal 10th house of career and reputation. And certainly this can ask you to join new groups of friendships and belonging that really satisfy you emotionally, even if those friendships are local neighbors, neighborhood events, and things to do with your online world. You're really parsing out here which groups of friends or neighbors you really wish to spend time with. And you may kindle a sacred flame with an old childhood friend too over the next while. This weekend could be, even Mercury, hearing from a friend from your childhood and getting back into a connection, a friend you made before you finished high school. And this whole stellium does flow, of course, in a water trine to your 7th house of long-term committed love. And so there's an element here too of where you want to pay attention, not only to your audience, client, and marketplace as you pull away some energy there as needed, but also to your partner that you're in a relationship with, and tend that flame as well. So there is some emotional resonance and a sense of satisfaction, and even a kind of sacred quality of relating with the Vestal flame here. Now we're moving to the next sign, but I need to edit the chart. Give me a minute. Make sure I'm whole sign houses, not 0 Aries. You're hearing a girl who's tired. I worked hard this morning with clients, and I didn't sleep as well as I wanted. Do you guys notice the Schumann was spiking? How did I get here? Okay. Now, let me get back to Taurus. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. This is a powered up lopsided stellium. That's Cupido for passion and ardor in your career, in your job. Mars, Pluto, you could quit your job could quit you. You're under a lot of intensity Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Watch for conflict, of course, in your area of your work with a boss or someone in power over you. Venus is trying to sweeten the deal, maybe give you a raise, promotion, or more satisfying circumstances in a work environment. And you would say to yourself, maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, what do you need to devote yourself to as a sacred duty, something you wish to tend, like a sacred flame, let's call it that. Because you have both the moon and the sacred flame in your 2nd house of earnings. It's almost like, you're persevering, you're working hard, you're tending the flame of your earnings and your possessions. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, and I really want to figure this out, not only this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I also want to figure this out over the next 20 years. Where is my emotional satisfaction and my dedication to my earnings in alignment with my passion, my life force energy, what I truly enjoy, where I can be powerful both financially and where my own divine will and the will of the my own personal and divine will can merge in my career and earning story. And of course, always there's a flow in a trine to the south node here from the stellium, which is in Venus's house, by the way, and that's your house of work and work routine. So again, work routines, work situations, and health even are trying to find an alignment Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If any of you end up quitting a job or getting fired or calling it quits up here, Mars, don't worry. Venus will find you an alternative in her 3-week stay through Aquarius. Go watch my Venus in Aquarius video for more details on that. Have you guys noticed that I'm not on my game? I just keep moving the chart the wrong way. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're in the live premiere. Don't forget that helps the channel grow and flourish. And now Adam Ellenbus, my friend and teacher, I love him, is saying, smash that like button, punch that like button, tap that like button. I'm going to say, lick that like button. Elbow it, all the lingo we use on YouTube. Hit the like button. Thanks. All right. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign in the sky. What we get going on the story is you are feeling a powerful stellium weighting your 9th house of spirituality, God, foreign land travel, things to do with your faith, what you believe is true, the meaning of your life, but also on a practical note, courts, legal matters, and higher education, teaching and learning environments as well. I think a lot of you are really looking at attending a vestal flame of sacred devotion, moon, emotional satisfaction, and well-being as it applies to 9th house matters. You want to write a book in the next 20 years? Are you really focused on the possibility of a new spiritual practice or faith-based practice? Are you even looking at the possibility of foreign shores and lands connecting to your home? Certainly this moon bakes in, is my home connected to a foreign shore? Do I wish to reside in a foreign place? I'll be traveling to Portugal. My progressed sun is in Gemini with my daughter, and I will see if I feel like Portugal could be a landing pad, because I'm not sure the Canadian tax structure is making me very happy. And also you can note that you have this energy of the south node being activated, where perhaps you're having to release or surrender a little bit of attention to a child, or to let the south node guide you in a fated way around your entrepreneurial or creative projects and businesses. And you may feel Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, there's some flow between you and a child, you and a love partner, that goes into more of a connected spiritual place. And that spirituality is doubled down by the sacred virgin herself, Vesta, applying a kind of a holy and temple priestess archetype to this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But what I really want you to remember is this is more than this weekend. This is also a narrative that kind of keynote bakes in a vibe as Pluto goes through the sign of Aquarius and continually recreates stelliums every February to certain degrees, right? They'll always be a little stronger or weaker depending on the year. So a lot of energy goes to you, Gemini, is about book publishing, foreign countries, third marriages, things to do with your spiritual faith over the next 20 years. And you can see the beginning or the nascent energy of that this weekend with this Pluto party in your 9th house of God. Hey, guess what? You Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising, got a Pluto party waiting your 8th house on the 16th to the 19th of February. And it's going to ask you to perhaps focus really heavily on what it is you want to do with those taxes and those things to do with your 401k and your investments. But beyond the practical, it's also the deep house of deep occult magic and mysteries, and also romantic sexual love stories that can be hidden, especially with the cosmic lovers in here. This may be something that takes you a longer time to understand than Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because it's a bit of it's in conjunct to your ascendant, and you may not have a true bead on it right away. Whereas maybe perhaps it will become more obvious to you as you digest the inner life processes of the 8th house. With the moon on the 12th, that doubles down. Pay attention to your dreams this weekend. Pay attention to your insights from meditations or inner life stuff. You got a temple flame in the 12th. Maybe you want to devote your time to your solitude, to some deep contemplation and reflection. But on the other hand, if you're somebody who makes money from foreign lands and foreign shores, yeah, this could also be tending that flame, that devotional flame of money being generated in passive ways that you could increase your revenue. Moon here of the Vestal Flame, you might be in a devotional space with a female in the hospital this weekend, and maybe there are conversations about money. South Node is aligning you with the potential of letting go of wounds from your childhood, your ancestral line, or even letting go of your home. Indeed, some of you Cancers, although you may not be planning it, if your IC floats in the fourth house, may be selling a home, leaving a home, moving from your home in the next 2 years. Hey, Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. What are you going to do, right? This is your story. You end up with this energetic stellium in your seventh house of, drum roll, please. What day am I on? I'm recording, yes, the seventh house of your marriage partners, your business partners, and your audience and your clients in marketplace. Now, in a relationship that's committed and monogamous, this is a lot of weight. Your partner may be going through a lot. Valentine's Day may have involved some fights or disagreements or explosions, and you're really looking at what to do with this relationship situation. You want to be erotically passionate, or they do. There's a lot of intense erotic communication or fired up emotional communication perhaps going on this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Mars would like to end things. Venus wants to bring them together. Love, hate, push, pull, Pluto, intensity. So there's just a lot going on. But remember, every year you're going to have Pluto with other planets every February here. So this is not something that it's not one off. It's here now, but it'll be back and back and back and back until 2044. What I would say is that you have a Vestal flame of devotion, and the moon up here. The moon is where you're going to be emotionally satisfied regarding the greater gains from your career, your social groups, and your friendships. And a sacred flame is wanting to be tended there that enhances your goodness, not only in your career gains and your audience marketplace, but in your primary relationship. You could code it for a simple realization, Friday through Sunday, that you need to spend more time with friends and less time with your partner. Or you could code it as you need to focus more on your marketplace and audience in a more devotional way as you acquire earnings and revenue from your clients and customers. There's so many ways to look at this. At the same time, if this story going on in the way I've described it, what about the South Node in your third house? Because it's flowing, right? It's flowing in this kind of air trine. I probably should have simplified the sky for all of you. You're trying to see with this weighted Pluto story and the stellium, what it is you might need to release or surrender regarding younger siblings, neighbors, neighborhood, but also the social media and online world. For any one of you Leos who gets highly involved in the social media land for your work, it could be a time to pull back and really spend time with the friends you love, with a partner that's so intensely confronting you right now, and pull away from your digital media time. And this may be a truer story over the next couple of decades, not just in the next 3 days, because this is the inceptional energy of the stellium coming through this Pluto party area of your sky. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. How do you want to operate here when you have a stellium waiting you the 16th to the 19th of February in your sixth house of work and health? Well, number one, work may be pulling you in, like really like dragging you into your reality. You're focused a lot on work. You want to like your work. You want to quit your work. You have a love-hate of your work. Also, health and health routines and love-hate of that as well to avoid sickness. Certainly with Mars here, you could get inflamed or injured. Be careful when you're exercising or something. But Venus is trying to sweeten the deal and make things okay. In other words, bonify Mars and make him less damaging. Good for lots of things here in terms of maybe finding solutions to challenges, Virgo, with how much intensity you're experiencing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the area of your chart that represents service and duty, drudgery and slavery, and work. So you say it's your job, or you can say it's more than that. Because with the Vestal flame of sacred devotion in your 10th house, the top of the sky with the moon, you're trying to find emotional satisfaction and public appeal in a way that you have a sacred calling or a sacred duty to a career path that is worth your time and perseverance, with a flow to the South Node asking you to hustle less, work less, and rely on more of this 8th house money, savings, like 401k, inheritances, money you can share with your spouse or significant other. Look, you're being tested right now By Saturn. Is the relationship you're in the one for you? You'll be asking that question until 2026. If you haven't already answered it, the question mark began in March last year. And I bring that up because this energy of you confronting what is worth your tender devotion in your career space, your work and health space, and your earning space means that maybe you need to look at collaborative wealth. You could be drained now by working too hard or working at all even, and you may be needing to look at, is there monies I can share with someone else? Is my partner going to help support me? Or can I rely on the other person? And if not, Chironic wound in the house of shared resources, inflaming February 19th and maybe March 5th, you may be looking at this relationship through the lens of, are we a we in our finances or am I a me? And this Friday, Saturday, Sunday may bring that to a head. Oh, and pets. Venus is and Pluto is, I want to fall madly in love with a pet, Cupido. And it's possible that you may be in a pet attraction mode during this window of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, where you may attract a beautiful new animal into your life. Okay, Libra, sun, moon, and rising. A powerful stellium is forming with the sun co-present here, like holding space for this Aquarius wait Friday through Sunday, or the 16th to the 19th. And it's all about love, romance, creative projects, entrepreneurship, the muse, inspiration, joy, fun, play, and pleasure, fertility, and children. Now, it is a fertility transit with Venus here, but it's got problems and complications with Mars and Pluto. So it may not be the best time for you or your partner to choose to conceive a child. It may be complicated. But at this time, it's also a place where there's a lot of passion. Venus, Mars, the cosmic lovers, and Pluto going deep below the surface for more intimacy, diving under the surface, looking for the intimate, figuring out what's going on, communicating, having life force passion with a partner. If you meet somebody as a single Libra in this weekend, Friday to Sunday, it's going to bake in a relationship that has a huge amount of erotic love story energy, but intensity, passion, and maybe, unfortunately, difficulty if you're not ready for what Pluto does, which is take you into the real depths of intimacy. At the same time, if you're creative, an artist, an entrepreneur, that's where all the weight is Friday through Sunday. You're baking in a vibe here that could last couple of decades of what do you need to devote yourself to as an entrepreneur, as a creative, that connects you more strongly to foreign shores, foreign lands, connections to your emotional satisfaction in your spiritual life, book publishing, third marriage environments. You're looking for the satisfaction to devote yourself to the ninth house of God in order, like a temple priestess, to tend a flame of the muse of creativity. I could code it as dharmic creativity, a muse alignment with your soulful path, finding meaning in your entrepreneurial and creative and love relationships, and a devotional energy wanting that. Watch for your health. Of course, you got a Libra South Node transit here. Is going to continue to go through to 25, depleting you physically and energetically, making you feel tired, making you feel dragged out a bit more. Everyone's got a different way of this experience, of course, but for you Libra risings, it's right on your body, right there on your body. So you need to be careful, and you need to let go here of what is potentially no longer necessary in your life. And the stellium is going to actually put you into a lot of that letting go of spiritual philosophies, things to do with your, how you thought your meaning of your life was to play out. And you may be doing a lot of releasing this weekend and into the next couple of decades energetically around what truly brings you joy as you discover what does bring you joy. And that can be a lot of the North Node. Joy in serving others, joy in finding a compatible marriage partner, getting rid of the chironic wound in the land of marriage. And this is a beginning of in that. It's like a inception keynote vibe of the next couple of decades, where self and self-care, love, romance, passion, and creativity, and meaning of life, purposeful life, become dharmic stuff, become very qualitatively important to you. How's that, Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising? You got a Pluto party rolling through your fourth house of home, nest, safety, your private life, your domestic life, your childhood, house of the mother, perhaps as well. Now, this is like you Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't know what you're doing at home because this is a temporary vibe of everybody's hanging there because the sun stays there, right? Really putting a lot of life force energy and solar soul energy into something passionate, creative, but also romantic or sexy and deep in your home. Could be a sexy weekend for sure. But it can also look like things like, are you really going deep into your childhood and releasing stuff because of Mars, cutting away the childhood narratives that don't serve you anymore? Are you very busy doing things that are beautiful, creative, and intense in the home that you want to communicate from your home? Now, interestingly, I go with the sacred flame, right? What are you kind to devote yourself to? A flame of devotion that brings emotional satisfaction when it comes to your eighth house monies. That's your passive income, your 401k, your inheritances, your shared money with a partner. Or deeper than that, this is a house that has to do with tending a sacred flame in the house of the occult magic and mysteries, and to some degree, your own psychology and psyche. I really asked you to look at life through the lens of spiritual liberation, as basically houses 4, 8, and 12 take you into a deeper soul connection to your purpose and your meaning of your life, but also to liberating yourself perhaps from the matrix, like not getting caught up in the superficial. And maybe what Pluto will make you do, like it or not, is get focused on the spiritual depth of your being behind the scenes and under the surface. Time to also focus more on work and heal a work wound. And this kind of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday may make you look squarely at where you might have a wound in the house of your work or your health. And I would also maybe add this weekend's energetic weight in the fourth house, really holding forth there, that if you want to do anything to do with Mercury and Moon, sell or buy real estate. Although I'm not saying run out and buy a house Friday through Saturday, but once the sun goes, you still have Mercury and Mars and all of that. So something about property, land, and real estate, or prosperity and wealth coming through an inheritance, maybe a narrative, or money from a father figure in particular, being made available to you, not just this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but perhaps as a story that emerges as relevant to you over the next couple of decades. It could code in a sacred devotional flame as well to tending the fire of your longer range wealth. And you might be looking at that rather than just, oh, I made a bit of money this weekend. What's my long range strategy here? Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, what we've got going in the sky is a super weight Friday through Sunday. And it's like, holy, super powered Pluto party, stellium. You've got passion, you've got romance, you've got sexuality, you've got conflict, you've got love and hate, you've got on and off, in and out in the third house of younger siblings. In the third house of neighbors and neighborhood, childhood friends, those kinds of people are very much on the radar. Or things to do with your social media, online world, trips and travel, and skills-based learning. I mean, who knows? Mercury loves to learn, and you might enroll in a new learning course this weekend. But if not, this is energetically a third house of your daily life, the fishbowl in which you swim, the everyday stuff you do, your regular routines like going, commuting, shopping at the grocery store, picking up your mail at the post office. This energy, a very busy Cajun house, is got a lot of weight, and it will continually have a lot of weight through the next couple of decades. As we're on the regular, we're going to have February's hyper loaded here to certain degrees. And therefore, what is going on is dragging your attention towards something else or pulling. What do you wish to focus on in your marriage house, in your significant relationship, in your clients and audience house that is important to you in your social media third house space, in your local neighborhood third house space, in your communication and writing space? I mean, Mercury loves to communicate. He's in a communicating, writing space. Do you need to communicate something to your relationship partner, to your business partner, or to your audience? It comes from a deep, deep, deep place, Pluto. And it connects to love, power of love, but also to what Mars can represent, your personal will. Personal and divine will want to merge in your third house. And there's a focus Friday through Saturday on focus the energy at the others in your life that are important to you, especially marriage partners or long-term committed love partners. You're healing a chironic wound in the house of romance. So a lot of you have to really look squarely at how that can break through a little bit this weekend as we head for the big Chiron North Node conjunction on February the 19th. With a vessel flame of devotion in the 11th house of hopes, dreams, plans, and wishes for one's life, you're likely letting go of a few outdated and outmoded vision boards, tossing them in the garbage and figuring out what your next long-term view of your world and what you wish to acquire in terms of success looks like. But you also may be looking at an ending or letting go of a friendship or a releasing of a connection to a sibling, especially older. And that would be Friday through Saturday. But you're coming in full of power. Perhaps Mars likes to travel, and you may have an opportunity, Venus, to take a very beautiful romantic trip or just a beautiful trip coming through the sky for you Friday through Sunday. And maybe even the code would be romantic getaways with intense intimacy serve you and your love partner to have a devotional relationship. And maybe that's how you will approach your love relationships over the next 2 decades, the committed ones. Capricorn, your sun, moon, and rising folks, what a lot of money, what a lot of energy in the money house, right? This is like the earnings, resources, how you get survival and thrival needs met, buy your house, food, shelter, and water, like things you need to possess to thrive and survive, including money. I mean, back in the day, we'd say, how many chickens did you trade? How, you know what I mean? Would be more aligned to, how much land did you own? But now we make money, right? So where is this story for you that you're focused so intensely Friday through Saturday on the money and earnings part of your chart? With the need to have a passionate energy, Eros, but also there's this push-pull of love-hate, separating, cutting, Mars, uniting and bringing together Venus. They're kind of like trying to fuse into one being. There is the 22nd of March, a conjunction of these planets, which I've done a video on. So you want to watch that video of Venus going through Aquarius, which I cover that. And the energy here simply says power. What is the true power you wish to acquire as you create earnings and wealth and resources over the next 2 decades? And now this early energy onset of the Pluto party stellium that will keep occurring every February here to certain degrees, less and more. Wow, 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 wow. You want to really focus on power and what you desire and what you love in terms of making money. And this weekend can bring you face to face with that story. It flows to a devotional flame, and the moon this weekend in your 6th house of work. And you want to be tending a sacred flame. You want to work at something that's not drudgery and duty, but it's destiny, and you desire to do it, and you're really asking or finding answers, I hope, to that question. Now, I do say, because health is here. Mars cuts away things that you eat that aren't good for you. The Vestal flame is the kitchen chef. For some of you, it's like new kinds of eating styles and cooking up in the kitchen and emotionally satisfying food styles that you're going to encounter a turning energy going on Friday through Saturday that may imply a signature of different and more nurturant home-cooked foods over the next 20 years in order to sustain a devotion to your wellness. And I mean, honestly, if you don't have a pet and you want one, this could indicate the desire for a pet that you wish to emotionally satisfy yourself and devote yourself to. And maybe opportunities arise this Friday, Saturday for such an animal to come into your life, or you understand that that is going to be a new story you wish to experience over the next couple of decades. Again, we're baking in the first Pluto party that can go energetically a couple of decades forward. South Node is to surrender, release, and let go of some old path of career that no longer serves you, and or bring some natural gifts and talents you've acquired from many lifetimes into your career and reputation space. Certainly, there's a lot of things you need to work on here, because you do have something you need to heal about a wound of where I live and where I belong and where's my true nest. And I think with the flow to the South Node, you're letting go as well as things that you may have adopted from your father. This is the house of the father in Hellenistic astrology that I use. And you might want to drop out of, let go of, release and surrender father stuff that has held you back, right? And move away from that kind of father stories that may have impeded your wealth generation in the 2nd house. Messages from your dad, the way your dad mirrored or modeled what success looks like, And with Venus saying, let it go, I've got your back, and Aquarius with Pluto, it's a wealth yoga for the next 2 decades. There are other better ways than the father's path for you to make money. And I double down on that with solar energy here, Friday through Saturday. You may have some insights or revelations about this way that you need to let go of an old way of a career success related to earnings and find something new. In the next 2 decades, that will be obvious. Hey, 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 Aquarius. Yes, I always say this. I am one of you. What's happening in the sky is we have this stellium waiting us. We are like so full. I'm going out of my skin. I'm recording this like, oh, so when I'm feeling this energy really strongly the day before Venus ingresses here. And for me, the Mars Pluto energy has just been making me feel anxious or gnarly or, oh. So I did go for a great sound healing treatment with a Tibetan bowl person yesterday that really chilled me out, which was wonderful. But think about yourself right now, Aquarius, as like carrying an entire, the three faces of Eve. Remember that? Like split personality. This is incredible. You're like a multi-personality during this weekend. Friday through Sunday, we are like, hey, which one do you want to talk to? The Mars, where I'm going to fight with you, the Venus, where I'm going to love you up, have sex, maybe romance, or the Venus where I am just feeling really beautiful, lovely, and attractive. You want to talk to that version of me? You want to talk to the Pluto part of me, where I'm like, let me tell you the darkest shit that's possible about reality life myself? Why tell? Because Mercury says, let's talk about it. Do you want to talk to the, Eros part of me, the Cupido that's full of passion and ardor? You want to talk to the sun, which is my soulful energy, my longer range, deepest, core, essential nature? What do you want to talk to? So every one of us Aquarius feels this new Pluto party wait for the next 2 decades. Is every February, in comes Pluto. Well, Pluto stays there and everyone joins him to some degree. These stelliums will be larger or less large, but we'll have more of this energy waiting our first house over the next 20 years. So there's a lot of self revealing, right? There's a lot of recovery, discovery, uncovering, digging into the surface of self to find authentic and true power. With Lord Saturn being our Lord in the second house, a lot of what we're looking at now is how that true power connects to our voice, vocation, calling, and earnings. That's going to be a dominant story for the next 2 more years for a lot of us with the Pluto story in our first house. I would like to offer up this possibility for every one of us Aquarians that are listening. What happens if we tend a sacred flame of devotion to that which inspires us? To be filled with spirit, inspirited, enthusiastic, joyful, and creative and procreative is the question mark. The Vestal flame is devotional energy, not just to your children. A lot of people born with the Vestal flame in the 5th house are very devotional parents, but often sometimes because this is a celibate priestess who doesn't have children, some people choose not to have children or don't have children. So it's what do you want to devote to the creative part of you, the deeper, the muse. Okay. So Aquarians, in order to thrive in your creative and procreative and muse-inspired stories and find emotional satisfaction here, you're looking at Friday through Sunday to feel into that. Where is your true joy? Where's your joie de vivre as it applies to creativity? And 5th house is entrepreneurial, self-starter, independent business enterprise as well. With your South Node up here, which is flowing, Venus owns it, and she's flowing back to it when she joins the Pluto party, a lot of letting go about a spiritual philosophy, things to do with foreign lands and shores, things to do with book publishing. But on the other hand, sometimes the South Node is bring the reservoir of your deep spiritual knowledge and wisdom from other times and places to bear upon the 9th house. So it's not always just releasing with the South Node. The North Node isn't a writing house, but it's like also, if you want to publish a book, go from the deepest place within you that has this cup or chalice of the South Node's moksha, spiritual liberation, energetic, right? Nothing superficial here, right? You're trying to find deeper inspiration. Some of you may even find that this weekend and then in the quality of the next 2 decades, you're going to go into a spiritual path of some sort that you feel familiar with, like I always thought maybe I was a whirling dervish because I love trance dance. So maybe I'll go into the Sufi path. Who knows? But, finding an alignment with your spiritual path will be a big story for every single one of us Aquarians over the next 20 years. We're not going to take it sitting down, guys. We're going to find what we think is true on the spiritual path that really works for us. The fifth house says that it's devotional in nature and it's also maybe enjoyable. All right. Keep that in mind. These are Dharma houses that are getting a trine light up by the Pluto party. So we're really focused on the deeper purpose of our lives and why we're on the planet. And with this Pluto party squaring, the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, maybe things that happen right now really put you face to face on, Friday through Saturday with a sense of what you wish to do in and from your home when it comes to land, home, property, real estate. I mean, I definitely have a feeling here for some of you. There could be some breakthroughs in your approach to where you live and what you might want to create in terms of your home. Some of you are looking at wanting to stabilize your home, right? Saturn, Jupiter, from the second house of earnings, or stabilize, maybe possess a home would be a great way of putting that. That could be very stable and prosperous for you. In other words, maybe some of you want to buy a home or take possession of a home in the next couple of years with Saturn still in your second house, and something going on Friday through Sunday brings your attention to that possibility. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign in the sky. We have a stellium in your 12th house. This is your foreign shores, foreign lands, travel, revenue generated from those places, but your deep soul work, your inner life, your spiritual path that takes you into connection with spiritual awakening to the Buddha level. It's also getting rid of the addiction, self-undoing, bad habits and patterns that create a kind of like self-sabotage pattern in your life. Certainly you may be looking squarely at dependencies and addictions. There's no doubt about it. Some Pisces are going there. On the other hand, this stellium in your natal 12th house could also have to do with secret love affairs and bed pleasures thus derived Friday through Sunday. And a very practical note, you may be also traveling to a foreign land for romantic reasons. South Node in the 8th house of secrets can also be about letting go of some kind of secret relationship for just some of you Pisces, not everyone. South Node in the 8th house also says let go of dependency on money that doesn't belong to your earnings house, like my spouse's money, my inheritance money, my grants from the government, and move more towards a passionate direction in your earnings. You want to devote a flame at home to the home with moon. This is very much about moon home, in the house of the home, Vestal flame, devotion, hearth, tending the fire. I think a lot of you could be looking at whether your true home is actually in another country, right? 12th house, or tending a flame, feeling Friday through Sunday that you want to tend a flame in the home that invites your spiritual life into the narrative. I wonder, possibly some of you might be thinking of, making a home-based office only because the sun rules your work house. And can you create a temple or a sanctuary in the home for a home-based office? That could be a shorter narrative. Like in the end of the day, this runs out. This kind of vibe will keep coming back, every February for 20 years to various degrees of intensity, all different configurations of stories. But could you possibly be looking here for some of you Pisces at a strategic career development that allows you to work from home? That's one way of looking at it. You may be able to, just on a practical note, arrange to possess a new home or find a new home or come into contact with a new home option in the next few days, right? Friday through Saturday, Sunday, because of the Vestal flame moon here. It's just so redolent of wanting to find a sacred hearth and home and tend that flame, but powering up that stellium in the backroom deals and negotiations. I mean, that could look like your neighbor's getting ready to move, but wants to rent their place out, and you guys have a deal to rent it out because you're going to take care of their pet. Like just kinds of like off the radar of like real estate agents or Craigslist kinds of things this weekend, Friday through Sunday, for some of you Pisces regarding the word home. Alrighty. If you're going to tend that sacred flame, it can also be really about just being more devotional in your home. finding a sacred path of duty, like maybe you're going to your yoga mat on the daily, lighting candles, meditating. Pay attention to your dreams Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because Mercury is a dream messenger in a dream house. And depth of Pluto stories are trying to unfold here for you. Massive spiritual awakening can happen for most Pisces rising in the next 20 years with Pluto moving through your 12th house. But that also invites inheritance monies that you could take possession of in the next 20 years as well from family members from your family of origin. All right, Pisces. And maybe your partners as well. Maybe money's from your marriage partner and their family of origin, really opening up some doors of your longer range finances as well. If I was sitting in a Pisces sky and this was in my chart this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'd be lighting candles, meditating, doing vision boards if you want, that kind of thing, getting more deeply involved in your inner life and like soul searching, basically. Soul searching. I mean, really important time, very spiritual energy, a very moksha and liberating spiritual vibe this weekend. But it may be what you're called to do over the next 20 years is go a little deeper under the surface. All right. Thanks for listening to that, everybody. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. And I am done for the day. It is now, oh my God, 4 o'clock on February the 15th, and you're going to get this content on Friday, Venus Day, as she ingresses into the Pluto party, and you can roll with it. Don't forget to check my description box for everything I offer. Some of you notice I cover a lot of the stuff going on in the world today regarding the word war, and some people like it and some people don't. Some people said cease and desist already, but you know what? I can't, because at the end of the day, I do what I like. And, you know, if the world had another story going on, like we just had a UFO landing on the White House lawn, believe me, I'd be talking about that. But what's dominating the news headlines, right, is what I'm talking about as it relates to our current sky, which we would definitely call mundane astrology, using the sky above to reflect the mirror of world events below. So that's, I'm offering you that because I like that. And if you don't like that, I get it, but you can jump ahead to the timestamps. Last little note, timestamps in the comments, chapters by clicking the title of the video. Last thing to notice, timestamps don't sync up for up to half an hour after a live premiere. So we go, oh, your timestamps are wrong. And they always say that. And I'm like, no, guys, you can't timestamp right away, because after the live premiere, YouTube is still working with that first 2 or 3 minutes with that intro music, and they have to sync out afterwards. So that's what happens when that happens. Thanks to all my regulars. I forgot to shout you out today. Sorry about that. It's been a day. I'm feeling the Pluto party in my Aquarius first house. It's enough to drive me to drink. Everyone have a wonderful afternoon, day, year, month, wherever you are. Thanks for helping my channel grow. I really appreciate it. Very best to all of you. And let me know in the comments, how did your Pluto party work out? I do read them. I do read the comments. Bye-bye all.